I'm Emin Menteşe from Kandilli Observatory of Boğaziçi University from Istanbul, Turkey. And mainly I'm a geomatic engineer. I have my PhD in urban planning, working in the fields of disaster risk reduction, disaster risk assessment. And in Tomorrow of Cities project, I'm involved in mainly visioning scenario development process. That is the taking the aspirations from future visioning exercises that we have from the communities and then translating those into proper policies and land use plans and future urban layouts that feed into multi-hazard impact modeling. We basically rely on the future visioning workshops and activities that are conducted by our social science team basically. And here they basically try to gather the aspirations, future aspirations, concerns and dreams of the communities with respect to their urban context and disaster risk reduction. But we cannot translate those properly into some sort of, let's say, tools that can, or let's say outputs that can be analyzed with respect to impact modeling. So the way we are approaching the process is visioning scenario development is the transition and the translation of those visions, future aspirations, into some proper outputs. The critical part here is one of the exercises of the future visioning, that is the co-mapping exercise, so we say. And in that exercise, what we do is we let the community groups draw their own urban plans, let them explain their own policy expectations. So basically, this is a very bottom-up approach, and then they co-produce their urban plans, their policy expectations, their future aspirations, and all those focus groups provide us some outputs that we can analyze. Our urban planning team basically chips in, and then we challenge those visions actually with some natural facts or some scientific truth, like they can vision, although they don't, they can think of structures that are made of wood, but they are imagining it to be like 20 floors or 40 floors. So we say, okay, this doesn't gonna work out. So we either change the assumption there, like the structure of the building or the height of the building. There can be also some issues with respect to natural hazards. For example, they can ask some, or they can desire for example, their urban layout to be placed in, let's say, in a flood hazard prone area. So if this is, let's say, forbidden in their political context by like regulations, urban planning codes, building codes, etc., then we say, okay, that's what you wish for, but your codes say you cannot. So we have to remove those urban areas, and then we have to preserve this area. So the thing is, these were your visions, but as experts and based on this context, natural context, political context, and some socioeconomic trends, we interpret, okay, these were your visions, but these are the facts that we had to introduce, and that's the combination of those both. And then we have to ask them, is that okay? Does it fit your visions? And then that's where the validation workshop comes. In that validation workshop, we basically validate our expert opinions, our expert interpretations. And then we ask the community again, is that okay? And then they decide, okay, that's what you think, but I want this, I want that, etc. And within those boundaries that we have provided, they revise their visioning scenarios, revise their policies, revise their land use plans, and then we again incorporate these into some digital outputs in Geographic Information Systems, and then we feed those information into impact modelers so that they can analyze future risk and future impacts.